Good morning from Beirut, and
Good
I
evening.
guess, and I guess it's a good evening from Sydney.
It is indeed. Good
Today,
day, Miguel.
it is a special day today. We have a really special guest with us here, Dr. Jase. Dr. Jase. It's funny. It's funny how Hickey we got in touch and we got in contact. As you were here in Beirut, you're Lebanese, am I right?
I am Lebanese. Lebanese. Proud Lebanese. Proud Lebanese. ومشميل كمان.
Lovely. والشرف. So it's funny enough, it's lovely how we connected together. You were over at an event that was taking place here in Beirut through Pod Community. And hey, this is how things were connected, me and you. And then at the end of the day, I was like, why not? Lebanon is passing through a really tough time right now. The news is telling everybody, and everybody is saying that, especially in the Middle East, also not only in Lebanon. So
Yeah.
I found that opportunity to actually take it in a positive way. Try to benefit people, to help people as much as possible through you. I would love to start this episode with the first question with you, Dr. Jase, is usually, through uncertain times that we're passing through right now, and there's a lot of hardships and a lot of mental fogginess, and sometimes we don't know why we're actually feeling what we're feeling during this tough time. So, in your opinion, why do you think uncertain times affect us mentally more than we expect, even when nothing is directly happening to us?
Yeah. Good question. Good question. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And you said earlier that it is a very special day today, Mother's Day in Lebanon. We don't celebrate it here in Australia, but definitely Lebanese all the way and in that part of the world as well. So happy Mother's Day to your mother, to my mother, and to all the mothers
You too.
that hopefully will join us. Thank you, Habibi, that will join us today or review the session or view the recording at some point. So it is a special day. And back to your question, Miguel, how do we know how can we know that uncertain times are going to impact us? It's, in my mind, what I think is that it's pretty straightforward. Humans love knowing. We do not love not knowing. When we're born, our mind is seriously wired for knowledge. The more we know, the better we're able to live. We can plan, we can predict, even as we grow older. And
Right.
as effective parents, what we like to do is we like to train children from a very young age to expect certain things. And that's why we encourage routine, because imagine, Miguel, having to wake up every single day and not know what your life is going to be, what your day is going to entail and what it's going to look like. It can be very confusing for many people. For some, it can be, wow, an element of surprise. But majority of us thrive and are able to move up by knowing, by having a norm, okay? And that's very, very helpful. So with uncertainty, that creates a lack of control. What am I going to do? What's happening? I can't plan. I can't travel. I can't work. I can't do that. And so it's very normal for us to feel anxious. Some of us may have panic attacks, and there's so many reactions to this kind of uncertainty. And to that, all I can say is that we have to come to the agreement with ourselves that there are things we can control and there are things that we can't control. Because if we don't think this way, we will seriously struggle mentally, and that will impact us and those around us. So that's a simple, long answer to your short question.
Directly on point, Dr. Jase. Look, especially me when it comes personally, as myself, sometimes I reflect back to see how I'm actually feeling during that time of hardship, during that time where there's a lot of negativity, during that time where I feel that there's no more that type of motivation or to keep going and to keep striving. So during this period of time, I sometimes get lost in what I am actually feeling and how I can control that feeling. In your opinion, Dr. Jase, if someone is trying to if someone is suppressing those feelings and not actually letting them out and not actually talking to someone and telling them that I'm sad, or I'm actually, maybe, let's say, I'm tired, or, because society taught us to suppress these emotions. So in your opinion, how do you think someone could actually feel free and talk to someone, and for him to actually understand his own feelings or her feelings?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think back in 1930, Sigmund Freud wrote a book called Civilization Content. And he talks about eros, life and death, sexual desires, sexual instincts, and aggressive instincts. And in that book, he says that civilization is never happy. Why? Because they cannot express their feelings naturally, because it's not socially appropriate. It's not socially acceptable. I mean, if I'm angry at something, I'm not going to go punch them in the face because I feel angry. Although I may love to, but I don't.
Right.
I won't do it. If I feel a certain attraction to a certain body, I'm not going to go act on that because it may not be socially appropriate or acceptable. And so we suppress those feelings. And so we've learned to do this. Society demands these norms. I think it's a good thing. Otherwise, the world would be very chaotic and and wild, and we won't be any different than animals, I guess. But one way of really identifying, people and encouraging them, well, if we find that people are quite defensive, or they're quite quick to answer, or sometimes they're experiencing extreme fatigue, and they're tense and they're on edge, that can tell us that this person is not necessarily expressing their emotions to the best of their ability, or they're not expressing them the way that they should be, or it's not aligned with how they truly feel. They may be all happy and bubbly, but deep down they're quite sad. And so those can be flags for us and for anybody, I guess, if we find that, something is not right. Now, if something is scary and we're afraid, that's a natural reaction. And if somebody is happy, then you're laughing and that's a natural reaction. So that's great. But I guess, or something also I want to say is that highly intelligent people tend to suppress their feelings more often as well, and they tend to be are more prone to anxiety and panic. Why? Because they have this ability to create, worst case scenarios, and they're very analytical, and they problem solve, and they think of all possible, and so that's a lot of thinking, a lot of overthinking that can create that. So, and of course, intelligent people do other great things as well, but this is just a sign as well. So these are signs for us. And see, the best way I think around this is to be expressive, to talk about our feelings. But to be able to talk about your feelings, you need to identify feelings. And if we're talking about children, that's why I like to teach children words and language and what a feeling means. Now, knowing the word is one thing, being able to say it is another thing. But I'm going to take it another level up, and since it's Mother's Day, talk about what mothers can do and what fathers can do, and siblings and friends and cousins and whatever. Is that when a child talks to us, when they use this language, we don't brush it off. We don't say like, yeah, whatever, خلص شو بدك انت ما تعطلب، خلص شد على حالك انت رجال، اما ولو ما بيبكوا هتلاقيها عم تبكي، ما لازم تبكي. بقى كيف I'm switching to Arabic, ما بعرف ليه.
Of course, definitely.
But the way we respond to these expressions and these expressions of feelings and emotions is key to letting children know, and to letting our peers know and our family members know. My husband talks to me. I'm not going to be like, look at you. You're crying like a girl or whatever. No, I'm going to be so accepting of this, and that will encourage people to continue to talk about their feelings, and that will also tell people that we're normal. Humans have feelings, and it's good to have these experiences. So following norms is good, but it's okay to to express them, and it's important to express them and to verbalize them. Now, you don't have to have a microphone and and it doesn't have to be very open, although some people may like that. And maybe one person that you really confide in could be enough, and it doesn't have to be somebody like me, a therapist. It can be a coach, it can be a friend. There are lots of people out there in Lebanon who can offer that as well. And sometimes just our parents. Sometimes if you don't want anybody to hear it, just look at yourself in the mirror, enjoy your beautiful looks, and talk to yourself. Let it out, express it. So there are ways around that. Yeah.
For our fellow audience that are joining the live, first of all, welcome to everyone. And إذا حدا منكم عندهم شيء أسئلة, if you guys have any questions, أكيد فيكم تسألونا تحت بالكومنتس, ونحن حنكون عم نجاوبكم على كل الأسئلة اللي أنتم بدكم تعرفوها عن المنتل هيلث, وكل شيء يعني نحن عم نقطع فيه بالفترة هلا بالظرف منه هين. حنقدر قد ما فينا نحن نكون عم نجاوب على الأسئلة اللي أنتم عم تسألون regarding كل شيء خاصه بالنفسية وبالمنتل هيلث. So again, welcome للكل. أهلا وسهلا فيكم.
Miguel, can I interrupt you there for a second? I'm going to interrupt you for a second, just before we move on to our next question. Just as our people are joining in the live session, I would like those joining to have to keep this mindset in their mind as we're moving forward. With anxiety and all times of uncertainty, it's important to help others and to help ourselves, and this is a great thing. But at this time, what I encourage people to think about, what can I do best? How can I best manage myself and those around me? So just think about this question as we continue through our discussion today. On to you, Miguel.
Lovely. See, I'll tell you something, Doctor. I mean, sometimes people don't actually know, أو أوقات العالم ما بتعرف إذا هن عن جد they are coping well with their emotions, وما بيعرفوا إذا شيء عم بحسوه صح at the same time. So I would like to know, how can someone tell if they are truly coping well or simply suppressing their emotions? يعني كيف الشخص ممكن يعرف إذا مزبوط إنه عم بيتحمل الإحساس اللي عم بحسهم أو عم بخبيهم, ما عم بيقدر يطلعهم بطريقة مباشرة.
Listen, our bodies are very complex. Our mind is very complex. Our emotions can be deep. But our bodies are very smart, and they talk to us. But
Right.
our job is to respond to our bodies. And one way our body will respond to us, for example, if I eat foods that are sugary or high in or low in complex carbs, I'm going to have a sugar rush. My mood swings are going to go up and down. So that's my body telling me, Jase, cut down on the sugars and eat healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's a sign. Another sign is if I'm not sleeping well. Normally I sleep well. Nothing has changed. Everything's good, but I'm not sleeping well. That's another sign. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like your jaws are sort of killing you, you might be sort of, grinding your teeth at night, and you might be going to a dentist, and he might be like, hey, do you grind your teeth? And that actually happened with me. I was in Abu Dhabi, and in regards to all Abu Dhabi people who are watching in the UAE, if anybody's with us, I went to the dentist just for a normal checkup, and he's like, Jase, you grind? Are you stressed? Like, me stressed? No. He's like, you're grinding at night, and he could tell from my teeth. So we tackled that, Yeah, no, and obviously, because sometimes our life, you can't really tell if you're experiencing anxiety or that kind of feeling. And so, but our bodies talk to us. So I think responding to our bodies is key. Sleeping right, eating right, being able to socialize. If you feel that you just don't want to see anybody, you can't cope, and that's another red flag. So there are a few things that we can look out for. If you see a sudden change in behavior, a sudden change, sometimes people, I think as we grow older as well, but also certain experiences change our tolerance level to certain experiences. Sometimes, you forgive friends for saying things or doing things, and there comes a time where like, I'm not coping with this anymore. No, I'm not coping with this with these sounds anymore. You know, I've had enough. I'm fed up of hearing the news. I'm fed up with doing that. And so, and this is a good thing. It's a good thing that we are being reflective and we are recognizing that our mindset is changing, and this is our way of coping. So know yourself, respond to your body, and be true to yourself. Listen to your gut. Respond to your gut feelings. But in saying that, Miguel, I think it's also very important. نحن اللبنانيين كتير شاطرين بنحكي إذا في شيء بنروح نحكي من شارع.
ما فينا نخبي شيء كله
بالهواء بيطلع. No filter. And I mean, there's a lot of good in that. The only I would say downfall, not necessarily downfall, but something that we need to think about is that العالم مش حيطان. People have feelings. So if I'm going to say something, I need to come to the agreement that I have to be ready to see what they're going to say. I have to be ready to listen. If they listen to what I had to say, I have to listen to what their response is, and I have to be accountable for how I made them feel. So it's not just a matter of expressing my feelings; it's a matter of how was that expression affecting others. And you can still express everything you want, but I think word choice is very, very critical here. I can say, Miguel, ليش شكلك هيك؟ ليش عرضك هيك؟ Or Miguel, your hair's quite interesting today. Same message, Samir, but the word choice, it makes it more positive and more accepting of my comment, right?
Yes.
So I think we just have to be careful with what we say as well.
100%.
In the process.
Guys, for someone was asking in the comments, explain to us what you guys are talking about. So basically, we are talking about our mental state and mental health. How can we manage ourselves and those around us, especially children at the same time? بالعربي يعني نحن عم نجرب قد ما فينا نكون هلا عم نحكي عن الموضوع النفسية، كيف نحن نقدر نسيطر على الإحساس اللي عنا إياها، وبنفس الوقت نساعد الأشخاص اللي حوالينا كمان يكونوا عم بحسوا بالراحة وبالأمان بفترة الصعوبات يلي لبنان والشرق الأوسط عم يقطعوا فيه. فنحن عم نجرب نعطي كم بوينتس مع دكتور جاز، نصايح وفاليو من دكتور جاز كتير حلوة، كيف عم نقدر نستفيد من هالشي ونقدر نساعد بعض نكون عم نحس بالراحة والأمان بنفس الوقت. Okay? Hope everything is clear. Keep asking questions. We're open to answer. Dr. Jaz, I'll tell you something because, you know, the mentality that Lebanese people have أو العقلية اللبنانية اللي عنا إياها أو حتى العرب بالجمع، نحن مصارعين، نحن منحارب، يعني حتى بينه وبين حالنا منواجه الصعوبات بفرحة، منواجه الصعوبات بابتسام، منواجه الصعوبات وراسنا مرفوع. بس للأسف أوقات بيوصلونا ضغوطات من برا أو we receive a lot of pressure from outside that we don't have control over. بيجربوا ينزلونا نزول، بيجربوا يقولوا لنا لا ما فيكم انتم لا انت ما بحق لك يعني شو بدنا نقول كل فتره وفتره بنلاقي مصيبه اكبر من الثانيه. فمش هيك I wanted to ask you in a world that feels unpredictable and out of control, what are the key things individuals should focus on controlling daily؟ يعني كيف الشخص شو هن الاشياء الشخص لازم يقدر يسيطر عليها بيوميته ليكون مرتاح نفسيا.
Listen, I don't know if I think I said this earlier. Can you still hear me, Miguel? You can still hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay. This is me. Everything around me is around me. It's not me. I'm independent, but I'm still very, very intertwined with my environment. I'm intertwined with things that go around me. The fact of the matter is, we can manage ourselves better than we can manage others. Typically, we have this power. knowing that we have the power to control ourselves, to answer your question, one thing we can do is focus on what we can manage in ourselves. One thing could be a mindset. There's this concept in psychology. It's called self-efficacy. If I believe I can, I'm more likely to do it. If I say I can't hold this pen or I can't write, I'm very unlikely to be able to write with this pen because I believe that I can't. And it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the same thing when you say, my kid doesn't eat this ما بيحب الملوخية. بس ما بيحب ابنك الملوخية، بتصير انت بتصدق انه ابني ما بيحب الملوخية، بتبطل انت تقدم له الملوخية لانه ما بيحب الملوخية. فيك تقول اليوم ما بيحب الملوخية بس يمكن بكره يرجع بيحبها. Things change. It's a mindset. Believe that you're gonna make a change in how you think. And I know it sounds very superficial, but it's that simple, Miguel, that we have the ability to control our thinking. Another thing is we have the ability to control our emotions. يعني أنا في يمكن حدا يمكن يجي يحكي شيء كتير بشع لإلي، يمكن كتير يقول لي اشياء كتير بشعة اما كتير حلوه. هلا انا اذا حدا قال لي شيء كتير حلو بصير برقص. I enjoy it. I express it. اذا حدا زعلني انا خبطه شوي. اذا حدا زعلني sometimes I'll keep my cool. I'll say what I have to say and then I'll go and I'll probably cry by myself, I don't know, but I'm able to manage my emotions. A lot of the time, if I hear things that I don't like, or something, or somebody tells me you can't be happy, or whatever it is, I'm like, okay, that's what they think. That's their mindset. How I choose to react to that, I'm going to take it, or I'm not going to take it. Even going back to children and how this can be applicable to children. The worst thing for parents and mums, and since it's Mother's Day, mentioning mums here more often, is knowing that we have to teach our children that the world is not all beautiful and it's not all butterflies. As they grow older, we have to let them know, you can't be talking to strangers and you can't be offering them this and you can't be cuddling people every time you see somebody, because that's just the way it is. The world is not as safe as it may seem. Yeah. And so what I encourage parents to do is, let's say if they go to school and somebody tells them, look at your suitcase, it's so ugly, and I always used to ask my students this, what would your response be? What would you as a parent encourage your child to respond? How would they respond to such a comment? Some students would tell me, I would say, your bag is ugly. Or I would say, really? And so they would respond. And I would always respond by saying, even the mere fact that we responded, that means we acknowledged what they said. I've already given them power, which I don't want to do. But and if
Dr. Jase, can you repeat your question?
So the question is, if somebody tells me, if somebody is telling me, or somebody is talking to a young child and telling them, for example, that your bag is ugly, or some kind of negative comment, how should we encourage children to respond to such negative comments?
Beautiful. People in the comments below, I want you to try to answer كيف ممكن تجاوبوا على هالسيتويشن أو how would you actually answer back in this type of situation? So we would love to see how would your reaction be to that question. Sorry to cut you off, Doctor.
Not at all.
Please do continue.
Do we eat everything? Anna Grace is asking. Okay, I can see the comments here. I love that we're getting all these different comments. So there are quite a few there are quite a few ways to respond to children or to people who put us down. Some people may say just ignore. Now, for a young child to ignore such a comment, the other person may think that they're not hearing them, and they may repeat it again and again and again, and this is what can develop into a kind of bullying behavior. And so, do you want me to say what a good, effective response would be, or should we wait for the comments?
Let's definitely take your input, but okay. we would love to take you guys input also down in the comments. Let's try to do this as a type of exercise throughout this live, and check how you guys might react in that scenario. So how do you think someone should react in that case, Doc?
Listen, there's no perfect way of responding, but my recommendation would be to I'm looking at them straight in the face and just say 3 words. I do not, well, that's 4 words. I do not care, which means I heard what you had to say. It did not impact me, and I'm moving away. Right?
Anna got it correct.
Anna Grace?
I think so. Anna got it correct. Yes, exactly. And Rana also said maybe respond with a positive mark back to that person. What do you think, Doc?
Listen, I'm all about positivity. And I think for young children, that could be asking too much of them, because that takes a lot of maturity, emotional intelligence, which they may not have developed fully just yet. I think as we get older, Rana, that's a great point. We may use that strategy, and I do that with people, and even I think the beauty of studying psychology and understanding people and managing ourselves and managing others is that if we truly understand people's emotions and where they're coming from, we become more accepting. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be a punching bag that people can, but I become more accepting rather than sweat back at you or punch you back or whatever. I'm going to be like, I really feel sorry for Miguel to a certain extent, because he's probably struggling so much that he feels the need to say this to me. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be less negative. And this is taking a positive approach, I think, that Rana is talking about. So it really is. Yeah, and this is where kindness comes in and empathy comes in, that I feel very, very strongly about. I honestly think that we as parents can do a much better job all over the world at encouraging our children to be kind and empathetic.
How could somebody be kind in situations that are uncertain? أو how could someone كيف الشخص ممكن يكون حنون أو كريم بفترات صعبة كتير مثل ما عم نقطع فيها هلا.
Yeah, listen, I think kindness and empathy, they're not skills that you just decide to have all of a sudden. Today I'm going to be empathetic. It's something that is built as you grow older and through, it's so authentic, it's so deep that it will come naturally to you. Will come naturally to you. Even when I'm doing classes or talking about certain topics and even about religion and stuff, I don't know what I'm like, really, Jase, you did great. Because it comes from within. I think, and I always say this to my friends and to people that I know, when there's true love in your heart, trust anything that comes out of your mouth. And
Lovely.
Honestly, really, really feel. But to have that love inside you can I think it means having a great childhood. And sometimes even if you don't have a good childhood, you can choose to live the days moving forward, being angry and holding grudges, or you could say, you know what, it's too heavy for me to be angry. It's too heavy for me to be upset all the time. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to distance myself. I'm going to keep my cool. I'm going to focus on growing mentally, emotionally, and improving myself and making a positive impact. Just having that mindset makes us more forgiving by default, I would say,
Do you think someone to, in your opinion, you think for someone to actually, let's say, restructure their emotions or try to reflect on their emotions and to understand them, you think they should take isolation to do so?
Listen, in one of my reels, I do talk about, and I'm known for this, the Jase detox, the Jase people detox, where with all the chaos, the fun chaos, summertime Lebanon, and maybe with all the chaos now, with the wartime and uncertainties, there's a lot going on, whether it's through the news or people or party. There's just so much. There are times where, yes, we need to isolate, we need to detach, we need to just time to breathe, man. It's just on. We can't. There's only so much we can cope with. And if we feel that we're coping, there's something wrong. And even if you think that you're coping, you don't even have enough time to reflect and to better yourself from the experience that you had. Because to reflect, you need at least a day to think how your day was the day before. But if you're constantly doing something, where's that reflection? Where's that improvement? And it's not just a matter of going out and having fun. And we need to stop and pause. Haifa, I agree with her. Jase بتقول كمان. But so sometimes distancing ourselves, and sometimes again with that reflection, going over, calming ourselves, pausing, and say, you know what, I'm going to count to 10 before I respond.
Nice.
Or I'm going to choose not to respond.
Yes.
And let them know that I've chosen not to respond. A lot of the time I would say no comment. I
Mhm.
hear it. I'm not ignoring you. Please don't get me wrong. But I don't have any comment on that. And it's
Mhm.
okay. Nobody can fault me. I do not want to comment, you know. And it doesn't give any positive or negative. If I'm going to say, so it's very neutral. By saying no comment doesn't mean it's good or bad. So you're safe on that front.
I mean, I'll tell you something. I'm grabbing value and information right now in that live that I haven't even grabbed throughout my lifetime up till now, to be very honest with
Oh,
you. It's really
honey, thank
eye-opening
you.
to a lot of stuff. It's really eye-opening to a lot of stuff because these are some detailed things that we don't usually think about, or we let our ego take over. Now, you know, if we want to talk about Lebanon or the Middle East, we have a lot of children trying to, grow and flourish in this life, and uh, I mean, do their best. I mean, for them to have a really healthy childhood up until they become an adult. Now, Doc, do you think children fully understand what is happening around them? Or do we underestimate how much they absorb from the situation, that's surrounding them?
Listen, humans, whether big or little people,
Mm,
we all have the same human cognitive architecture. We have the
mhm,
same brain. There are
mhm,
parts of the brain that haven't been fully developed, and the part that's responsible for rationale thinking, and that doesn't happen until after teens, and that's why we see a lot of teens going crazy and taking all these risks with driving and stuff, and that's there's a physiological reason behind that. But typically, young children are extremely smart. They have the ability to be extremely smart by
beautiful.
nature and by nurture. And I talk about this in some of my reels as well. By nature, the way they're born, there's a certain potential that they can get to. But if that potential is not stimulated, is not used, is not fed by the environment, by their parents, by their school, by, that potential may never be reached. And so we need to recognize that children have potential. They are capable, they are very capable, but they're only capable if we allow them to be capable.
Mm,
And something we know for sure, Lev Vygotsky talks about the zone of proximal development in psychology. And there are times where children on their own are not able to solve problems or understand things. And as parents, we're like, ما بيفهم ما بيعرف خلص اتركه ما عرف ما فهم. But the teacher will just maybe brush it off. With the zone of proximal development, what it tells us is that we are able to identify the child's level of thinking and the child's understanding of a specific task at hand, and not come and solve it for them, because we're not doing any help by solving the problem for them, which is out of good intention. A lot of Arab parents or teachers do that. Not teachers. A lot of Arab parents may do this. A lot of Lebanese parents may just want to quickly solve the problem to move on because life is faster or they've got other things going on. With the zone of proximal development, we do present ourselves as mentors in this scenario, and we provide a little bit of guidance, just enough to trigger something in the child's mind. The child's like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting there. I understand it better." And then, as the child sort of goes up the ladder and understands the problem, this is where we decrease our guidance, and bit by bit we detach ourselves, and then the child gets the pleasure of solving the problem on their own. So children are capable, but we have to allow for that that capability. Another thing, we know that children, again, because of language, they don't always know how to express themselves. What we do know for a fact, Miguel, is that children absorb more than they're able to express. So with that in mind, as parents, as caregivers, as people in society, we have to acknowledge that we do a lot of talking, but we don't do a lot of observing. So we have to share with children things. have conversations with them. They don't have to be mature conversations, but they can be serious conversations. They can be conversations where I'm not just blah, 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 or listening. I'm actually really listening.
Yes.
But to do that, I know Lebanese and Arabs, we love to go out, we love to do things. And a lot of us have help, and we rely sometimes on nannies or this or friends or whatever, aunts. It's beautiful. But we need to be able to spend sufficient time with our children. And I won't be able to connect with my child unless I spend that time with them.
Exactly. Do you think, in your opinion, to actually feed these capabilities to that child, you think that fed or that if you want that يعني كيف بدي أقول لك إياه إنه to actually give these capabilities to the child, you think it's more related to the mother or to the father? Which one you think is more dominant over the other to actually enhance that capability on that child?
Listen, I am an Arab person, but I would say a typical response, Arab mind thinking, traditional, not necessarily current, but traditional thinking, conventional thinking, it's the mother's role. And I understand that. I understand it because whether or not we like it, a mother is more nurturing in her approach. The father is not necessarily less nurturing, but a father uses a different kind of style, a more serious tone. Typically parents play different roles. And this is a great thing. What we're seeing today in modern society, modern parenting, is that both parents are playing somewhat equal roles in helping their children develop these emotions and these skills and these capabilities. And there are times where dads do a much better job at certain skills, and there are times where mothers will do a much better job than fathers. And it goes back to traditions, culture, expectations, but it also goes back to personalities and their own experiences. Yeah. A father may have had an experience in a certain aspect that is very similar to their child, so he will be the right person to talk to their child about that case. And I think, but to be able to get across to our children, we need to let them feel comfortable, because a lot of the time children want to talk, but they don't. But they feel that there's a gate, that they feel there's some kind of obstacle there, And this is what we don't want to see. We want children to feel comfortable enough to be able to come to their parents if they're feeling happy, if they're feeling sad, if they have any issues. The first people they want to go to is the parent or the caregiver in this case. If they feel they're going to be judged or mocked or laughed at or criticized or even being dismissed, they're very unlikely to come to them when they're feeling uncertain and scared. So, right. And we shouldn't be waiting for times like this to encourage children to come to talk to us. It's an ongoing thing during happy times, scary times, surprising times, birthday parties, normal days. Have regular conversations. And to me, it's all about quality, not quantity. So you can be a working mom or a working parent and still be very, very effective at connecting with your child.
As you were saying, Doc, previously, that a child absorbs more than he or she expresses. In your opinion, how can a parent actually understand and know what that child is feeling if he doesn't express?
Oh, I like that. That's a tricky one, Miguel. Let me tell you something. From day one, when a child is born, when a mother gives birth, within a few days, trust me, within a few days, the child, the newborn baby, let's say Bob, will have different kinds of cries. There'll be hungry cries, there'll be sad cries, there'll be colic cries, there'll be agitated cries, and nobody knows his cries better than the mum. My child needs to be burped. My child needs to be fed. My child is maybe cold. They are very. It's human nature.
Exactly.
Allah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And and a mother and a parent, they feel if they are connected to their parent, to their child, they sense it. And even if they don't sense it, they can observe and they recognize, they see differences in their behavior, if they see that the child is isolated, if they see that, I always ask, when children, if concerned parents are talking to me about their child, I always ask, do they have at least one or two friends, close friendships? So all of these are signs, kinds of play, how they engage. Do they want always to play by themselves? Are they happy to share their toys? Are they happy? I have a story here. Let me just grab this story. Oh, I can't grab it now. Don't worry. Are they happy to share their story and things like that? All of these are signs of whether or not a child is able to express their feelings. How are the comments coming along?
Comments are doing fine. I mean, Anna, I think Anna is your daughter.
She is. Hugs, Anna Grace.
Anna Grace, welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you over here. And especially your mom is wonderful, and no doubt at all that she has an amazing personality, especially with all the values that she has, and trying to help out as much people as possible throughout this online session. And I'm very grateful for that. From Lebanon to Sydney and Sydney to Lebanon, it does not stop. It does not stop us to try and benefit as many people and impact as many people as we can.
Absolutely, we're here for them.
100%. For people currently feeling overwhelmed, and whether they are a parent or not, Doc, what is maybe one mindset shift that can help them feel more relaxed immediately, or may I say more grounded immediately?
Focus on the moment. Focus right
be
now.
Present. Be present.
Be present and focus on this moment. What can I do right now? Don't think, okay, it's uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Today, I know I'm able to do 1, 2, and 3. Another thing, if you have a task at hand and it's a big task, break it down. If you have an assignment, okay, it's massive. I'm going to start by opening your laptop and writing the first paragraph. Break it down. Tidiness, believe me, minimalism, that is very helpful. Less noise, physical noise around us. Okay? Somebody wants to come to talk to you about something. It's great, beautiful, but you know what? In this moment, I can't take it in. Say, I really appreciate your trust. I'm going to kindly ask you, let's talk about this another time. And I'll remind you if that's okay. Please don't get me wrong. Simple language. Focus on the moment. Focus on what if, do not focus on the what if. Focus on the what is. What if they're going to bomb tomorrow? What if no. Focus on right now, I'm safe. I'm eating, I'm sitting in my room. That's it. These are instant actions that we can take to feel at ease.
Because see, I mean, I personally sometimes experience that. And whenever someone thinks about the future, the mind never stops. Overthinking starts hitting, the person starts thinking on what they want to do after a week from now, or at least 2 days from now, or maybe tomorrow. And this is where stress and anxiety kicks in. And what I found out through Rana Moussa was saying regarding our previous question that I do agree. Although as a mom, I also found sometimes there was trial and error in learning, just as in this topic that also we're going to talk about, which is overthinking. I mean, me personally, I also had some trial and errors to finally found out that no, actually, whenever I'm in the moment and or maybe meditate for like 2 minutes, or actually just find something in the room, a color or an object, just look at it, I'll feel suddenly relaxed.
Absolutely. And instant things that we can do are grounding exercising, breathing exercises, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is, naming something you see or identifying something you can hear or taste. So there are quite a few things out there online that we can do instantly as well. But definitely it's a mindset, and just to also minimize the load on our cognition, our mental ability, because there's only so much. Our cognition is very limited in capacity and duration. There's only so much information we can hold in one given time. And because of that, one great thing would be is to, for example, write things down, write notes down.
Mm-hmm.
I will this goes from here to here. Now I have more time to talk to you and to
Mm-hmm.
and to respond to some questions we may have from the people who have joined the session. So there are quite a few things that can be done to help us manage as well with overthinking. Writing it down, prioritizing, cutting it down, having a calendar. And it's great to be there. It's great to have a plan, but also to be flexible. I always talk about flexibility. It's not the end of the world if you don't go by your plan. It's not the end of the world if I don't go by what I was going to say.
100%.
Revisit, think, what did I learn? What will I change if I had to relive all this again? And this is how we improve. And this thinking out loud can be done in collaboration with our children. Like I'll definitely be having this conversation with my children now. Krista Maria, I think, is online as well. She's saying great chats. Thank you, Habibat Elvi. Joseph, I don't see my son Joseph there, but but yeah, let's get some more questions from the audience.
Yes,
More
we would
questions.
love to hear all of your questions, and definitely Dr. Jase is here ready to be answering them. And yes, by the way, Doc, as you can see right behind me, I have my whiteboard that is just it is directly faced directly in front of my bed. So the moment I wake up,
it's there.
so
I love
the
it.
moment I wake up, I mean, before even I grab my coffee, my coffee is my coffee is my whiteboard.
Okay, Miguel. I love it. And that's the way. That's the way.
So my coffee is my whiteboard. So yes, I am definitely planning, organizing. Just writing your tasks, your day, your weekly tasks down. Just when you actually see those tasks, everything would be clear and your mind won't rush. I believed in like a saying that you can achieve what you see. Right. So whether it's maybe in the near future, what you're trying to imagine, maybe, I don't know, becoming really successful or maybe becoming really healthy or fit. If you see, even if you imagine it, but write them down. How will you actually reach to that part? Reach to the stage? What are the steps you have? Exactly. What are the steps you have to take? So the moment you write them down. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add that writing the steps, but then taking it another level to get to your end goal faster, I would say, is also being able to identify potential challenges along the way, and then tackle those challenges before they even come. And so you're definitely even more likely to get to that goal. With cognitive load theory, we've identified there are like 12, 13 effects. One of the effects I've actually identified in my PhD, which I'm very proud of, but one of them talks about the imagination effect. And you get you sort of just imagining a problem, imagining something, you can get the same satisfaction, the same sort of outcome. You're more likely to get to it as well just by the imagination of it. So there are quite a few things out there for us to do, and it's good that you found your own strategy. Other people may have different strategies, but these are things that work for us, and we're sharing with people that they may want to use similar strategies that have shown to be effective. And if anybody else that's with us now has any have been successful in getting to their goals with specific strategies. Assalamu alaikum from Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad. Ramadan Kareem. It was Eid just a few days ago, correct?
Yes.
Yes. ينعاد على الكل كمان. آمين يا رب. So yeah.
I wanted to check something also. I mean, I have received a really beautiful tip from an entrepreneur or from a business owner that throughout this time period, which is actually الحرب, the war that we're passing through, businesses are taking a pause. and businesses sometimes are going bankrupt or are even closing during this time because they can't keep going. Therefore, people are getting depressed and they are actually committing suicide because of that, unfortunately. And because it's something that it's out of their control, and at the end of the day, that's the only source of them actually of life, you know.
Yeah.
So that entrepreneur told me one thing, and he said that, Miguel, through that time, you have to do your best to understand yourself, understand your feelings, understand how you feel. And in parallel of that, you have to research on your business and actually to actually feel that you're still in the game and you're still in that business that you're doing, is to plan, improve it, right? Prepare for the future, for maybe like whenever the war is going to end, to actually start the implementation. So therefore, you will have the type of motivation and that relaxation. That no, I mean, things will get better really soon. And when things are going to when things will get better, I'm already better.
Yeah.
Because I already planned things and I already prepared things ahead of time, so I can implement. You know.
Yeah, I absolutely think this is a great. Thanks for sharing that example with us. And I think it's great advice that this person has shared with you, because we can choose, again, going back to what I said originally, we can choose our reaction to things that are happening in our environment. We can't control things that happen around us, but we can certainly control how we react to things that happen around us. One way of reacting is sitting down and bumming and swearing and being really all upset about, وعملنا وهذا صار هيك وخير لك، فينا نعمل هيك، فينا نفش شغلنا، اوكي فشوا شغلكم، احكوا قد ما بدكم، بس انه اوكي يلا خلص حكوا قد ما بدكم وخلص. Zip it and let's move on. Moving on
100%.
is okay. I'm not going to stay. You can be down. You can be blue and down, but you don't need to go into depression. Okay. So again, these are signs that we can identify early on, and we don't want to get to a point where people feel the need to end their life, sadly, but, and I can't speak on anybody's behalf, but that's an extreme reaction to an uncontrollable event, the war and stopping of work and stuff like that. And so choosing how we sort of respond to that by letting our emotions, thinking about it, but then focusing all that anger, all that expression, all those feelings into bettering myself, bettering my work with AI now. How can I include it? What's going to happen? So there's so much out there. And today, luckily, we have so many resources available to us.
Yes.
Listen, a few years ago, 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but like, God help. Now, nobody can, people can react the way they want, but we're so lucky. We have so much, we have a lot of resources. We can work on improving ourselves. And even if you can't go to the gym, use your own body weight to do exercise. There's no excuse. We have to, I think we're really good at the art of excuses. I think we can cut down on giving excuses for certain things in our life, and just do it. Just do it. Think about it, plan it, and do it. Do it, and then go back and reflect, and then do it again, and then whatever. So just move forward in the process.
Doc, what do you think is the biggest mistake parents actually make when they're trying to protect their children during uncertain times? Like the biggest mistake, or maybe misconception, whether it's with their actions or with بطريقة الحكي معهم أو بطريقة تصرفاتهم. What do you think? Because I think parents because parents also get stressed. Keep in mind. And because of that stress that they might feel, they might maybe sometimes lose control of the way they're trying to interact with their children, whether through their acts or through their words. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest mistake parents can make when they're trying to protect their children during an uncertain time?
Listen, I think some parents And of course, most of this is all good intention. It's just maybe ignorance or not knowing sometimes the right ways to behave or the right words to say. Some parents give too much information to children. And when we know that there's only so much children can handle and cope with because emotionally they haven't matured yet or haven't reached a certain level, or they're not able to cope with that information just yet. Sometimes parents overprotect children, overprotect, everything's going to be fine when nothing's happening. What's this? No, it's nothing. Don't worry. Brushing aside things and not putting the children in the loop. That's also not good. And then you ask me, so how much do we tell them? Children by nature are quite inquisitive, and they will ask questions, and they will show that they're interested in knowing certain things. And when they're interested in knowing, it could be about the war, it could be about how babies are made. They'll come and ask you how a baby's made, younger children. And then some parents will, don't talk about that, which, the mere fact that they've come to ask you, that means they want to know. I would rather be, as a parent, the one talking to my child about this than a friend of theirs or somebody else or another adult talking to my own child about how babies are made. So, but because this child is young, I may not necessarily give them the whole picture.
Right.
So I will give them, but I will never lie to children, and never lie to anybody, and let that be let that be a promise to yourself.
But don't you think
Never lie.
sometimes lying could actually protect that person, or no?
It can. But let me continue my point. Yes, it can. I'll get back to that point. So
All right.
never lie to a child. Give them information, but don't give them the full picture. So if you tell them that, mom and dad, when they get married and, they love one another and they'll cuddle each other. And then the child be like, oh, okay. And that was it. And that's the end of conversation. But if the same child tells you, oh, really? And then what happens? That means they are ready to know more. So if they will lead the conversation, they will lead the level of information that you will give them. Going back to your second question, a lie. What was your question again?
Do you think lying to a person or lying to a child, let's say, as we're talking about children now, you think it could actually protect them from that information?
Listen, let's give an example. Let's be specific so I can give a specific answer. Let's imagine that a mom and dad, God forbid, are going to get a divorce, or they're going to get a divorce. Okay. Some parents may not tell a child that they're getting a divorce to protect the child, and so they are lying to the child, right? In this scenario, again, I stick to my point where I try as much as possible not to lie to children, but I, again, will not necessarily give them the full information. I might be saying that, mom and dad or your father and I are having a little bit of issues now, and we're trying to sort things out, trying to see what's best. But always remember that, we love you so much, and this has got nothing to do with you. It's just something between your daddy and I. I didn't lie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't lie, but I did tell them that there's something there.
Right.
So word choices, and maybe, with time, as they sort of things present themselves, you may choose to give more information. Do you think, or does anybody who's with us now, does anybody think that it's ever a good time to lie? I mean, sometimes there are white lies, as we say, but I don't
Hello,
know. I'm
Nora.
more with.
Nora saying hi. Nora
Hi,
Salim.
Nora. Hello. Nora Salim from Abu Dhabi. I think my student, maybe. My former student.
Nice.
So,
welcome.
Yes. So I think we play it by ear. Children are very smart. Parents are very smart. Parents, do not underestimate our children. Children, the best thing I can tell parents is love your children. I know parents love them, but show them, love them, cuddle them, tell them I love you. And the child might be like, yeah, no, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Say it back. Teach them to be expressive. Teach them to say things. Teach them it's good. And this goes back to expressing our emotions and expressing them because they haven't been used to expressing them. We can teach children from a very young age. when I cuddle them, I can be cuddling a child and the child is like just standing there. And adults may be okay with that. I'm not okay with it. I'm sorry. I want to feel that cuddle. Give me a cuddle and squeeze nice and tight, you know. And we can teach children. And they may not like it first time, second time, third time, but by the fourth time, I can guarantee, Miguel, that they'll be cuddling you tighter than you cuddle them. And that's a success. And it feels good. It gives both a sense of dopamine, and it just feels good. And when we feel good, what comes out of our mouth is good, and our actions are good. And this is we hope to see a ripple effect in our environment. And this is how we best manage ourselves and manage children. This is just one simple example.
Doc, at every end of an episode in my podcast, we're coming to an end. I usually play a small game with my guests.
I like games.
Usually, I wish we were live at the studio, because usually it's a card game. But we will do it digitally. It's the first time I'm doing digitally. So the game, it's more personal to you, and more as let's say maybe your experience. Okay, so I'll be asking you 5 questions, or let's say 4 questions. Okay, they're gonna be A, B, C, and D. So you're gonna if you want to write them down. So A, B, C, D. You're gonna pick randomly which question you want to pick. Okay, if you want to pick A, B, C, or D, you pick one letter, and then I'll ask you the question, and you need to answer back. Okay.
بربح شيء ولا ما بربح شيء يا ميغال؟
نربح، بس تحكي من بعد اللايف شو بتربح.
اوكي زي هيك بلعب.
تمام.
Okay.
Great.
يلا, I'm ready.
So you have to pick a letter between either A, B, C, or D.
I'm going to pick D because it's last.
Lovely. So the question says, as it's Mother's Day today, what was one moment in your life that you actually felt a sense of pure happiness with your children? Now I know you might tell me it's the moment they came to Earth or they were born.
No. You know what? On that, many mothers think that that's the first moment, love at first sight. It really isn't. It takes time, because humans, we form relationships, and after all this pushing and all of that sweating and big tummy in front of us, we're like, we're too tired. But so it's not love at first sight.
So what do you think is that moment?
There are quite a few moments.
Anna, if you're still with us in the live, hear it out.
Oh, yeah, Anna Grace. Listen, to me, a beautiful, beautiful moment, honestly, is when they start, all 3 of my children, it's the first social smile. A lot of the time, newborn babies, and when I say newborn, we're looking at 0 to 3 months. Newborn babies, the first few weeks, give what we call reflexive smiles. So a baby will be sleeping and you just see their mouth sort of like sort of, going to the side. And parents are like, oh, there's an angel, oh my God, they're smiling or whatever, It's not that. A social smile is when they look at you and they smile. That means they recognize you, they can smell you, they can see you, and they know that it is you that is caring for them, and they give you that smile. That is a grand moment. And I've seen it with all 3 of my children, Joseph, Krista, and Anna Grace. But of course, every single moment with them, I promise, not because they're live with us now, but every single moment.
Special.
I've got wonderful kids. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. God bless all children. But my husband and I are blessed with 3 super, super amazing children. And they, along with my husband, have allowed us to be great parents. I would say I'm a great parent. I'm sorry. I'm a great parent.
No doubt.
But I have a lot to learn still, of course.
Definitely. I mean, it's a constant learning phase. We never stop learning.
Absolutely.
I mean, nobody's perfect at the end of the day. So D is out of the box. We still have A, B, and C.
Oh, okay. How many? I have to answer all of them?
Yes, basically. بس إنه هيك
Yeah,
it's a small twist إنه you pick, you know, like to
okay,
make it a bit.
like no problem. No, I'll do A now. Question A, and I'll try to be shorter with my response. A. I'll go for A because it's first.
A. Great. حبيت كيف لعبتيها last and
إيه.
first. ما عندي تك هذيك بالنص. A. Jazz. During your lifetime, throughout your life, when did you feel a moment of there is no more hope, or you think that I mean that part, that situation that you were in, you felt that it was really draining you mentally and physically, and you felt that I mean you really needed someone to hold your hand and guide you or pull you out from that place you were in.
Yeah. Listen, I'm quite old. I've lived many years on this
اسم الله عليك ما بتبيني.
on this earth. Alhamdulillah, I'm blessed, and I have to say, until last year, I have not felt a sense of regret, a moment of regret, or a moment of lost hope. Whether it's the people around me, my mindset, my blessings, my parents, my upbringing, my husband, I don't know, all of that. But until last year, I lost my brother, and there was really nothing we could do. We did everything to help him fight, and that was very, very hard. And that, to me, that was lost hope, because we did have hope until his last breath, honestly. Although, so yeah, that was a moment, a very, very hard moment for us. God rest his soul, Habib Albim.
God rest his
But
soul.
that was, I think that's the only time really where we really cannot have hope, because it's not in our hand. It's in God's hands. We can't control life and death. At least we can't, like, you know, we're not talking about war now. You know, crazy leaders are controlling who dies, and that's so, so sad. But under normal circumstances, we really cannot control when it's our time, you know. So that's the only time where I would say that I don't have hope, you know. But I do have trust in our Lord, and I believe that
Of course, He's looking
everything
over
happens. He's looking over us, and we know best. I mean, who best to know us other than our Creator? So it is what it is. We just find
Amen.
ways to adapt and to move on, like I would say.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick for you now. Okay.
Go for it.
So we have picked A and D. We're gonna go for B now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think throughout your lifetime you taught yourself to be kind, or maybe, let's say, genuine with the people around you, or you have passed through experiences, maybe through bad experiences, that built that personality of yours and taught you that kindness and maybe positive interactions or positive feelings with people can actually enhance it and not cause a destructive scenario?
Yeah. Listen, ever since I was a little girl, I remember my mom and dad always used to tell me, "جاس رح تعيشي ل 200 سنة إذا عم تضلك تضحكي هيك وبتضلك هذا الأكشن تبعولك." So I've always heard people tell me that I've been positive, you know, ever since I was a little girl. But that's not to say that I didn't have any negative experiences. And I remember this one time, so silly. I was, let's say, going to the shop to buy something. I was in Lebanon, and this group of people, for whatever reason, they were laughing at me, and they were just saying names. I don't know what they were saying, but I felt that they would, you know. So I sort of just ran. I was a little girl, ran and went back home, and I started to cry. That's a very, very, very silly, trivial thing that happened, but it was a big experience for me, and that sort of like made me like, really, they think they can do that to me when I'm talking to myself, of course. So it made me stronger, I would say, but I didn't need that to make me stronger. I think my whole life and how we cope with things, and how I observed my parents coping through things as well. So we learn a lot through imitation and observation, not just by formal learning. We learn a lot by observing. So how our parents respond to chaos and to uncertainty is how we maybe respond to that. And that's why I think it's so important that if I'm feeling angry or sad or scared, I'm not going to be saying it out loud in front of my child. Or if I'm angry at my husband, I'm going to sort of pull him aside, when they were younger, pull him aside and try to talk on our own. So I think, again, back to nature, nurture, I think Sitti Rima, my grandmother, her name was Rima, she's the kindest person on. She's an angel, and my mum is like her. And I think I'm like them too. not that much. They're really, really great. But I think it is innate as well. I think by nature, you have that handy, you have that kindness, you have that goodness in you.
Yeah.
And I think my study of psychology as well has added to it. It's given it a nice cherry on top as well. So I think it's a combination of both.
Beautiful. Sounds good. I mean, I think that's the only answer for humanity and to actually enhance better living. I mean, sometimes, okay, I mean, I'm not saying we're not all angels, we're not all saints,
Oh yeah, I can be wicked. Trust me, I can be wicked.
100%. No, it doesn't mean if we're that kind, we can be tough at the same time.
Exactly.
We could be بالعكس. I think الشخص اللي بيكون كتير منيح مع غيره في يكون مثل ما بيقولوا tough 10 times even more.
Yeah, to me,
than
yeah. To me, I like it when, even with young children, I used to work at Adma International School, and I was given 3 children who were diagnosed ADHD. And I was very nice and everything, but I was very assertive, very straight with them. So you can be kind, but also assertive. I need you to do that for me. I need you to do that. I wasn't mean, but I was assertive. And this is the kind of parenting, and this is the kind of behavior we need to be with people. Even people, doesn't have to be just parents, but with people, you can be assertive. I don't like this. You know what I mean? You don't have to be rude. You can still be kind, but assertive.
Right. Lovely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Final question to end it off.
Yeah.
Dr. Jase, what do you think about that online session?
This one? The one that we said now? I love it. I love it so much. I want to thank you so much for reaching out. And yes, it was such a great pleasure meeting you, Miguel, at the podcast community event. And thanks to Patricia. Shout out to Patricia.
Shout out to Patricia. And Renoir also. Renoir, the Opat community.
Yes, absolutely. And you were one of the panelists over there as well. It was a great event. And I remember I approached you because I was taken by what you had said on that stage. And then you and I exchanged contacts, and we were in contact. Really happy to continue these conversations moving forward about different topics as well. But I'm here, I'm available. And people can also follow me on Instagram, Dr. Jase Psych. And I do not do online sessions. I do not do therapy sessions, and I do not engage in chat. Please, people, please. I know your good intentions, and but I do some beneficial reels that can help parents, children, adults, all individuals, because I tackle human growth and development from preconceptions all the way to death and dying. So that's it, Miguel. Thank you so much for having me today on your show.
Doc,
as well.
Before we end the session, we're going to take the final question for today. Kalama, I guess, is asking if you want to read it, Dr. Jase, and maybe get back to it.
Yeah, we're all different in how much uncertainty we can tolerate in life. Yes, that's very true, because we all have very different tolerance levels, right? Okay, some people seem to enjoy taking risks and living unpredictable lives, while others find the randomness of this deeply distressing. I totally agree. And that's why no one action is the right action. Most of us act in ways that align with how we think, how we behave, with our traditions, with our culture, with religious views in the background, with religious considerations, with traditional considerations. So all of these are factors that guide our behavior and guide our thinking. And even if today I act in a very risky manner, it doesn't mean that in every single experience in my life, I'm going to act that way. I've chosen today, based on the givens, based on the variables today, that this is going to be the best way moving forward. Tomorrow, or a different experience, I may choose something different. So the key is knowing your values, thinking about, planning. Don't be responsive, don't be reactive. Plan as much as you can. Your actions, and what impact is that going to have on yourself, on others? Is it beneficial today, or is it beneficial in the long run? Is it going to hurt anybody today? Is it going to hurt anybody in the long run? So all of these questions should be guiding your behavior and your decisions, whether or not you want to take risks. I always say life is full of risks. We can't stop that. But we should choose non-dangerous risks. Do not choose dangerous risks. Taking drugs is a dangerous risk. Driving fast in certain situations is a dangerous risk. Driving is a risk, but driving fast in a certain area is a dangerous risk. So we try to minimize as much as possible risks whenever we can.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Rana, thank you so much for this beautiful message. Rana was saying great collab, guys. And Rana, this is not only the first and the last one. I mean, there's many more to come, even bigger and better. Happy Mother's Day to you, Doc. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that joined us throughout this live, and Eid Mubarak at the same time.
Absolutely.
I hope all of you have a lovely weekend and a lovely upcoming week. This episode was special to me because it was my very first online podcast, doing it with a really great, amazing person.
You did great.
I appreciate it. And Dr. Jase, thank you so much for attending. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications, and follow Dr. Jase on Instagram. And we will see you very soon. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Miguel, and goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.